Aloha, and welcome to Coffee with Conversation for Well-Being. My name is Geralyn Joseph. I am your host. I am a relationship empowerment coach. Today, we are discussing jealousy versus envy. Many people use these two words interchangeably, but they actually mean very different things. The feeling that you get can be very similar because it is based on insecurity and fear, but they're not exactly the same. What is jealousy? Jealousy is a fear of loss. You experience jealousy when you're afraid you're going to lose something, when you're afraid something can be taken away from you. So you're jealous when you possess something or have something and it can be removed or taken away. In romantic relationships, jealousy is like poison. Some people believe that jealousy is like, oh, that means he really cares about me. You could be concerned about a partner. You can see that other people are interested in your partner without being jealous. Jealousy comes from fear and insecurity. Neither of those things are good in a relationship. People who are most jealous tend to be people who are very clingy, people who do not have a good sense of self, people who are very insecure in who they are and what they're offering, so that they always feel like their partner is going to leave them because they're not good enough for them. That's where that comes from. It doesn't come from someone loving you. If someone truly loves you and trusts you and you have a good relationship, jealousy is not really a linchpin there. Jealousy is generally some kind of a red flag that shows you either the person who is jealous is very insecure, doesn't have faith in the relationship, or doesn't trust you. And or it could mean if you're not a jealous person usually and you get a flash of jealousy, not something that's like overwhelming, just a flash of jealousy, it may be that you're noticing things that are happening and it's something that you need to look at. If you're a person who is often jealous, then you probably have a very insecure nature and you don't have a lot of faith in what you're bringing to the table. Regardless of what you say to other people, this is the way it works. So jealousy can only occur if you possess something that can then be taken away. People talk about being jealous with ex-lovers and things like that. That is walking a fine line. But for the most part, jealousy comes from, for instance, this happens to me all the time, where animals love me. They just love me. They do. My cat's right here next to me. That's why you see the box right there. So oftentimes when I go and stay at people's homes and things like that, their animals will tend to follow me around or try to be in the same room with me and things like that. And I've actually have had instances where people became jealous, like I was doing something to steal their pet. But I don't know. Maybe I just smell a certain way. I don't know what it is, but jealousy is not healthy. It is not a healthy emotion. And it is not something that you should strive for. And it is especially not something that you want in a partner, because that just means that your partner doesn't trust you and that there's a fear of loss there. So you have to be very careful with that. Does that mean that you're not going to have moments of jealousy? No, jealousy comes and goes. As long as it's not an overarching emotion that's in your relationship and at the crux of your relationship, if it comes and goes, it's really not that big a deal. It's just showing you that maybe there's some place you can improve. Maybe there is something going on. Now, even though we talk about jealousy primarily when it comes to romantic relationships, jealousy is something that comes up in all relationships or has that potential. So you could be jealous of, a coworker because maybe you're the boss, they're really good, and you're afraid they're going to take your job. You could be jealous of a sibling because maybe they get more of your parents' love than you do. You can be jealous as a parent based on the child's love. Like I've seen mothers and fathers who compete for the child's affection, for the child's love, as opposed to their first order of business is being a parent to the child and wanting that child to have a good relationship with both the mother and the father, or both parties that are involved, or all the parties that are involved. When you're talking about extended families, they get very jealous. Don't let them call you mom. I come from an area where everybody gets called mom. If you're at somebody else's house, you call their mom mom. The kids get called mom. Hey, mommy, what's the matter? What do you want, baby? Or you say daddy if you're a guy. You, hey, daddy, what are you doing, daddy? Which I know I've traveled enough places to know that other people think that that's weird. But it's also a term of affection and something that helps us to expand. You know, it takes a village to raise a child, and that kind of a concept. Now, when we talk about envy, envy is different. Envy comes when you have a want of something or a desire of something that you don't have, but somebody else does. So there are two things you could do with that. You can turn that into admiration and inspiration, so that you're looking at somebody, they're very wealthy or they're very successful. And if you're envious, you just feel like you should have what they have. Why do they deserve it and I don't? A lot of times what happens is people work for what they get, and sometimes they are born into it, but you don't know what they have to do to maintain or what's really behind whatever they're doing. So you can't really judge someone else on their possessions. Envy will stop you from getting that thing, because wrapped up in envy is resentment. And resentment has an energy to it that pushes things away. So you might be envious of somebody's relationship, but remember, you're only seeing part of their relationship. And then when you get in a relationship, you're trying to mirror the same relationship, but you don't know what it took them to get there. You don't know what they do to maintain that. So you're expecting it just to be that way because that's the way you want it. Envy can be very destructive in that way, because when you're envious, you're not a very easy person to be around, especially if you have friends or family who are more successful. Then envy comes out in a variety of ways. It's not just negative energy. It is making negative remarks, like you worked really hard to put yourself through college, and then somebody will chalk it all up to luck. Oh, you're just lucky. You're just lucky. You're just smart. You know, you're born that way. You don't have to work for anything. They'll brush it off like that. Or they're the ones who will question, well, why do you deserve that? You know, or if you talk about your success, they downplay your success or they criticize your success. These are all symptoms of an envious person. And these are the type of people that you do not want to share your good fortune with. And because of that, what ends up happening is that person will ultimately alienate themselves from people who are successful, because they don't know how to be around people who are successful. Another way that comes out is that if you have a group of friends, say, and there's one person who maybe is very charismatic, but who is in a like, say, high school. Not everybody goes to the same high school. A group of you go to one high school. This person does not go to the same high school. Somebody's having a party over here, and you ask one of the friend group, can you let that person know we're having a party Friday night, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, sure. And then afterwards, after the person doesn't show up and you see them, you're like, well, why didn't you come? And they're like, when? What are you talking about? And then you find out that they were never invited. So it's slighting people in this way. Doing things like that are the mark of someone who is envious. So this is something that you don't want in your life. You don't want to be this person. And if you are this person, you need to watch out for it. Both jealousy and envy, oftentimes when it occurs to you, when you're feeling it, you feel it up here or in the throat. So think about a time when maybe you had something or someone and you're really afraid to lose it. And that's not just like, it's not the same as being afraid you're going to lose someone because they're going to die. It's you're losing it to someone else. Like it would be your possession is taken by someone else, is the way jealousy works. It's not so much that you just lose it, but it's lost and it's gone somewhere else. And people who are really jealous, they don't understand when a partner leaves them because of the jealousy, but they're not going to someone else. There's got to be someone else. They just cannot, it's unconscionable to them that this person would rather be alone than with them. So what we're looking for in ourselves is to catch ourselves when we start feeling these things, when we start thinking these thoughts, because like anything else, we need to feed it. It needs to be fed in order to grow and become strong. We do not want to feed this. So for instance, if you are in a friendship and suddenly you guys meet more people and then the friendship expands, feeling jealous that your friend is now spending time with more people, not healthy. You need to back that up and allow yourself, it's all right to recognize that, hey, like I really depend on this person a lot. I'm very dependent upon them. It's all right to recognize that, I really wouldn't know what to do if I was by myself all the time. I think I have a problem with that. And I want to make sure I maintain this relationship. So what can I do to maintain it? The one thing you don't want to do is complain about them spending more time with somebody else than with you, because that to them would be a red flag. What you can do is offer to do more things with them or include more than just the two of you in activities so that you're broadening things so the person doesn't feel so put upon. Jealousy is kind of like a wet shoe. It's like that person or that thing that just won't go away. And it's like, and you try to get away and you're like trying to pull away and then it goes right back on, just suction right there. And it's a very uncomfortable feeling, both for the person who is feeling the jealousy and the person who's the object of the jealousy. Because jealousy is not a comfortable emotion. There's so much anxiety in the center of it that it can be very, very off-putting, and it is very off-putting. So let's think about a time where we may have felt jealous. Take a deep breath and release. Relax. Take another deep breath and release. Now think of a time when you were jealous. Or better than that, close your eyes and I just want you to think of the word jealous. Think in your head, I'm jealous. Where are you feeling that in your body? Take note of that. Because we want to be aware when this emotion comes up, because it's a red flag. It's something that's good for us to be aware of and look at in order to make our relationships better. Are we codependent? Do we have an anxious attachment style? Why are we feeling this way? Are we seeing that our partner is paying more attention to someone else who they're showing maybe the wrong kind of attention to? Does that need to be addressed? All of this needs to be looked at and dealt with. in order to alleviate that feeling of jealousy. Okay, now let's clear out, take a deep breath, and release. Imagine white light filling you up and just making you feel good, clearing all that out of our system, like a rotor-rooter going through. Okay, you feel yourself lighten up there. Envy. Envy is about resentment. It's about entitlement. It's about wanting something that someone else has. So we're going to do the same process, and we're going to see where envy is in our bodies. So take a deep breath and release and relax. And one more time and release. Okay. Now close your eyes. Envy. Oh, I envy you. Where do you feel that in your body? Oh, I'm so envious that you won the lottery. I know I don't play, but I'd like to win the lottery. Oh, I'm so envious that you got that brand new house and I still live in my same old house. I'm so envious that you got that really good job. Where are you feeling it? Okay, we're going to clear that out. Take a deep breath and release. Imagine white light comes through you and illuminates you from the inside. Feel yourself lighten up. Take a deep breath and release. Very good. Did you notice where you felt that? We may not be using the word envy when we look at somebody and we want what they want. We may not use the word jealous when we're afraid of losing something, but these are emotions and they sit in our body and in our energy in a certain way. Once we recognize what they are, then we can work with them and do something with it. So both of them
don't hate the player, hate the game, son.
Have solutions. Both of these things have solutions, but they're two sides of the same coin. So when we're talking about jealousy, we're trying to preserve something. We're trying to maintain something. We're trying to keep something. When we're talking about envy, we're talking about wanting to go after something or wanting to grab something, wanting something that somebody else has. So they're different in that way. So in order to maintain something, we need to look at what are we doing, or what are the times or the opportunities where we feel jealousy come on. And if we're feeling jealous, then we need to look at why are we feeling jealous? Where is it coming from in us? What is surrounding it? What other thoughts are accompanying it? So that we can look at it and remedy it. For instance, if you're jealous that somebody else is going to take your partner, maybe you need to work on your relationship. And instead of being nasty towards your partner and acting like they're stepping out on you, whether they are or not, maybe you need to be nicer. Maybe you need to be more romantic. Maybe you need to listen when they talk to you. These are all things that can help you get rid of jealousy. They're all things that can help you with that undercurrent of confidence. That's another thing, is you need to work on yourself to build your confidence. And that works in both arenas, with jealousy and with envy. Now with envy, instead of saying, I'm so envious that you got that new house, maybe the proper thing is to look at it and be like, I would like a new house also. How do I go about doing that? How do I make that possible? How do I create the atmosphere where something like that can happen for me? Now, maybe it is totally out of your reach. Maybe it is that you'll never own a house like that. Then maybe what you want to look at is that really what you're looking at? Is that really what you want? Or are you seeking that level of success which is being shown to you by the possessions of that person? Well, maybe you're single and they have 4 adults that are sharing the house and they all decide to go in and buy it together. Maybe they have some kind of a profession where they make a lot of money quickly, and maybe your profession is not that. Maybe you need to look at an education. It's all about, how do I remedy this? And it's about, how do I get from here to there? If that's really something that I want, why do I want it? Maybe my house is perfectly fine. What do I think that their house symbolizes? Does it symbolize their success? Do I feel like it makes them better than me? What is it that I'm looking for? So asking yourself those kind of questions instead of ruminating on how mad you are and seething over the fact that somebody has something that you don't is a lot more productive. If you become resentful of someone, they're certainly not going to help you achieve your goals. And the truth of the matter is, they couldn't, even if they wanted to, because you're not looking at it as oh, these are stepping stones. This is the carrot in front of my nose to get me moving. You're looking at it as, well, I should have that, and they're just lucky, and why aren't I lucky like that? And the world doesn't work that way. Does that mean there's just dumb luck sometimes? Oh yes, there is luck sometimes. But it's also about stepping up and stepping out to allow that to come to you. One of the things I like to teach my students, and when I'm working with people, is that when you're focusing on something that you want, for instance, the house, and you're thinking, well, these are the steps I have to make to get there, I'll never make those steps. That is just not something I could do. Instead of looking at it that way, focus on the house. What is it about the house? What about a house do you want? What steps were taken to get there? Yes. Are there other ways to get there? Maybe you might win a house, and then you just have to pay the taxes on it. Maybe it's about security and having a place to be. And maybe it's not buying a house for you. Maybe it's finding the right, little bungalow or something. So figure out what is right for you instead of looking at what everybody else has and what everybody else is doing. And find out, why do you feel like you are not good enough? Why do you believe that you are not achieving? Why do you think that these things just happen for other people, but it doesn't happen for you? Check your energy. What are you thinking? How are you behaving when someone has done better than you or has more than you? Or maybe it's not even better. It's on an equal playing field, but you decide to buy the black car and they decide to buy the red car, and you decide after you buy the car, well, you like the red better or you like the black better. It could be that simple. But all of this stems out of a lack of confidence, a lack of knowing who you are, what you need, what you want. You're looking at everyone else for the answers. I have a car that is 13 years old now and has over 170,000 miles on it about. Do I want a new car? No. Do a lot of people in my position want a new car? Probably. Learn to appreciate and have gratitude for all the things that you have, for all the positive things that you have. Every day, wake up in the morning and try to look around and find one thing. All you need to find is one thing that you're grateful for that day. And you can't say the same thing every day. So you can't say, oh, I bought this my pillow and it's such a great pillow, and this is an awesome pillow, and I'm so grateful for this pillow because it gives me a good night's sleep. No, you can't do that every morning. You have to pick something different. After like 30 days, then maybe you could start repeating some things. But the point is to look for more and more things, because they could become smaller and smaller things or bigger and bigger things. I'm grateful that the sun is shining today. I'm grateful that I woke up and I feel well rested today. And then also, before you go to bed, one thing. Find one thing that you're grateful for and think about that one thing. Really think about it as you're falling asleep. What am I grateful for today? You want to shift your energetic so that you become more grateful for what you have. And when you're more grateful for what you have, it is easier to create, call in, get what you don't have, what you need, and then what you want. Being grateful adds to your confidence. And confidence is akin to faith. So having faith that things will work out well. It's all good. It's all good. It's not all good. But you can look at it as the majority of it's good. Or I'm going to focus on the good. That doesn't mean that you neglect the things that are not going well, but you look at them and see what you can remedy. If you can't remedy something, if it's something you can't change, like whoever the president of the United States is today, or your brother-in-law, something like that, then you need to come to an acceptance of it. Like, okay, I can't change that, but I could change this. Can't do that, but I could do this. Don't just focus on what you don't have or what you're yearning for, because all that does is it creates more yearning. Okay? So the difference between envy and jealousy. Neither are great. Envy is one of the 7 deadly sins, with good reason. Jealousy should be up there also, but it's a little bit lower because you already have what it is that you need. It's just that you want to make sure that you're not pushing it away. So envy is wanting something that you don't have and being resentful and being covetous, as they say, of something that is not yours. Whereas jealousy is being afraid or having the fear of loss. You're afraid of losing it. So if you're afraid of losing something, you need to look at, am I codependent? What am I doing that I'm afraid of losing this? Am I forcing the loss? Am I creating the problem? Or am I seeing something that's piquing this in me that I need to recover from? That I need to discuss with my partner, that I need to look at and see maybe I need to make myself better so that I'm not feeling this way and I'm not having to deal with these types of emotions or actions. And with envy, looking at people and instead of being envious, admire them, shift that. I admire you. How did you get to where you are? Can you mentor me? Or who was your mentor? Who did you follow? And you look at things and try to figure out, like, okay, how do I get there? So these two things are very powerful, very strong emotions. Neither one of them are good. So jealousy has less to do with love than it does with behavior that is anything but love. Because someone is jealous doesn't mean that they love you. It means that they see you as a possession, possibly. Or maybe they're getting a little crazy because are you doing something to create that? It's all about in here. So when we feel either of these emotions, the first place to look is inside ourselves and figure out what we can do to make things better. Sometimes we need help, and I'm here to give you that help. My name is GeralynStJoseph. I am a relationship empowerment coach. Your number one relationship is with you. That is the relationship on which every other relationship is based. I can help you one-on-one or in a small group setting Just give me a call or a text, check out my website, and let's get together. My website is Relationship Coach, G as in girl, S as in Saint, J as in Joseph, relationshipcoachgsj.com. I hope that you have everything that you need and most of what you want. Blessings, and thank you for coming.